All right, so now I want to take you to NCED Cloud / Rapid Identity, and I'll show you how to get onto HMH, and we can talk about some of the most high leverage resources there. So I'm really just going to Google, and you're welcome once you do that to bookmark. So NCED Cloud, you will need to sign in, but that will be intuitive. I already had signed in. Okay, so for HMH, that reading curriculum, just a reminder, you're going to go to this smiley face here, HMH Ed, and launch. All right, and as we're here, I want to show you kind of those two pockets we talked about when we were together. The pocket of if you want to be like, I don't want to do everything as HMH is written, but I don't mind using some of the stories as mentor text. But I want to look and sort for those by NC standard. So this is how you would do that. You come here and drop to whatever grade you want to drop to. So let's say I want to be 4th grade in particular. Off to the side, you go to standards and then view. And then I'm coming over here to just a 4th and then looking for that particular standard I'm interested in. So let's say I'm interested in RL 0.3. And I specifically want to come here then to kind of go, okay, well, I only want to look at it for, I don't know, reading. And apply. And so all these ones that have my book and PDF are options for stories that you can analyze. And so there's that. The other is if you go back to your dashboard, discover. So this is going to be your more traditional route. You say, oh, my team is following it pretty spot on. So this would be the way to kind of navigate that. So let's say I'm, I don't know, grade 5, and I want to be in Wild West. Okay, so teacher's guide. And then you'll come up here to this contents area, and notice this is just one module. So you go down to individual weeks, and then you can go, once you're in a week, to the week at a glance, which is just an overview page. And you can see the 5 lessons within that week. Again, inside of that, you'll see vocabulary, reading workshop, which is basically the direct teaching of a skill, stuff for small group, foundational / phonics stuff, and then writing options. 2 things I want to draw your attention to over here are the assessment types. One being the selection quiz right here, which is just questions on the actual story of the week. And the other is the weekly assessment, which is less on any connection to the content and more about just assessing a standard. Like if you're teaching main idea, that's primarily what they're going to be worried about in the questions, and it's going to be a cold read. Okay, so that's one way to deal with that. And also, as just a reminder, remember vocabulary and specific lessons are obviously found where it says lesson. So let's say this one's on text structure. That's the lesson, the direct teaching. And when you click on whatever the actual skill lesson is, you'll see a page that looks like this, and you get the anchor chart and such, but you also primarily get that teaching pal, which is your version of what the students see, and it has those sort of caps off to the side, as you see sort of like here, with thoughts on questions to ask students, and maybe you even want to turn them into exit slips or something. So be mindful of that. A lot of them are skill specific. So let's say again you're wanting to draw out something really focused on text structure, like you're like, that's what we're doing this week. Or maybe you've noticed you've already taught context clues, but they're really struggling. So you can definitely be mindful as you're looking over these. Okay, and then of course I mentioned vocabulary is built in under individual lessons, and the vocabulary routine changes each day. So there's that. All right. And then the other option for doing the exact same thing is instead of a guide, you can go to week 1 and then just go straight to a lesson that you want to do. So let's say we're lesson 2. And there's the story, vocabulary cards. Let's see here. I think I mentioned earlier there was Let's say you only want to focus on one standard this week, but HMH has you introducing three. So let's say you say, I pick main idea as the one I really want to focus on. And at the bottom, it'll say intervention, and it'll connect to one of the major standards of that week. And I would just tell you, if you need something else to kind of go back to that, this is another story and option for reading that you can use for a main lesson if you wanted to. Okay, so yes, I think. Oh, I also wanted to show you the lesson slides. So if you go, obviously this is just an individual lesson. If you go to where it says reading and lesson slides, reading and vocabulary, you will see. You will see this, which are they're obviously slides, but what's nice is they can be edited. So you might say, I only like a couple of these, but I only got to download a couple and upload them to my Google Drive or whatever it might be. So they're yours to manipulate however you want to. And the last thing I'm going to show you is, and actually two things. In all resources, the editable weekly plans is essentially the same thing as the week at a glance page, but it's editable. So like you can use this as your lesson plans kind of thing. So let's say you're like, I don't want to do summarizing on day 2. Sorry. I want to do central idea the whole week. So copy, paste, paste, and you get the idea. So that's another option. And the last thing I wanted to show you, the for real last thing, is under all resources, you have foundational skills, which are individual lessons for phonics. I can also do this, scope and sequence, in just the search bar at any point. Here is the scope and sequence for your particular grade. So this might be 5th grade, and you can kind of see where they're going with that. Let's see here. There's also, make sure I get you on the right one. Foundational skills. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, excellent. There is one that is for every grade. It's like an all-encompassing, and I'd have to search around for it. But basically, long story short, it will tell you a specific lesson to go to if your kid doesn't need everything. So, for example, let's say you're like, your kid doesn't need short A. We've covered that. But they do need short O. So I say, oh, a short O lesson is session 162. And so that's the other one that I'm talking about. And again, it has the same labeling, like foundational skills, word studio, something like that. I'll find it and share it. Okay. And last but not least, in the professional learning, um, you might see it as a couple things. You might see it as live events or teacher's corner. But this is where all the PD can be found if you're interested in that. And some of them are decent.